How's it going, everyone? This is Jay, aka the Mindful Hunter, and we are going to do a bit of a gear review today. We are going to compare the Zeiss Victory 10x42s with the Zeiss Conquest 10x42s. Now, this may seem a bit of an odd comparison because these exist in a completely different price range. The Conquests go for about $1,000 USD, and the Victories go for about $2,500 USD. Now, the question I wanted to answer for myself is there actually $1,500 difference? Like, they're more than double the cost for the Victories. And is that $1,500 justified in the Victories? Now, how I did this is I bought both of these binoculars brand new, and I took them with me on a hunting trip to Arizona for Coues deer, which, if anybody's hunted Coues deer in Arizona, this is an optimal ground to test your optics because it's got everything you could possibly want. And most importantly, I was in the field every morning and every night as it got into night. So during those twilight hours of dawn and dusk, I had both binoculars with me and I was able to hold them up side by side. I feel like this is the best way. In the middle of the day at noon, a $500 pair of binoculars looks just about as good as a $2,500 pair of binoculars. When you really see the differences start to creep out is when you lose that light quality and get into less than ideal circumstances. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about ergonomics. The Victories, and this is no surprise, are probably one of the nicest feeling binoculars I have ever held in my hands. As soon as you pick them up, they just feel like quality. Like, they're solid. There's a weight to them in that they feel like they're quality construction, but it's not hefty. Here's a quick interesting point. These binoculars are a half an ounce lighter than these binoculars. Look at the height difference. I'm fairly certain this is an aluminum alloy and this is a magnesium construction, and that's why you can get away with a larger size binocular and still shave some weight. So yeah, ergonomics are perfect. I need maximum eye relief, which means I need to have the eye cups fully extended. I love the way these lock out. They're perfect, they click into place, they're solid. The diopter was super easy to adjust. So if we're just sticking to ergonomics right now, that's probably all I have to say about these. They're probably the nicest feeling binoculars I've ever had in my hands. Love them. Okay, Conquests. Surprisingly, they feel very nice, like in the hand. They have this same like rubberized compound on the outside that the Victories have. What I don't like about the ergonomics is see, it just did it right there. You almost have to pull the eye cup and twist at the same time. Otherwise, you actually, to get it to full relief, to get the 3 clicks. Otherwise, what happens is you actually just start to untwist the eye cup and the eye cup comes right off. It's like, what is that shit? Kind of disappointing for $1,000 pair of binoculars. Like, yeah, it is a major turnoff for me. For that reason alone, I wouldn't be able to own these binoculars because every single time I took them out and had to adjust the eye relief, that would happen to me. I did get used to it to a point where I could get the 3 clicks pretty reliably, but not reliably enough. Another note on, this is ergonomics related. Let me back up a step. I was primarily looking at these binoculars for my go-to in the pouch binos for archery hunting. So handshake was really important to me. I thought the Conquests being shorter would actually be more stable in my hand, but I feel like with the lens design of the Victories, the way they have them balanced, it feels like they keep more of the weight back near the eye cups. And by doing that, the eye shake was, if not equal, actually less with the Victories. So ergonomically, Victories win out clearly, but they're $1,500 more. They should win out clearly. The real black mark here is the eye cups on the Conquest. I'm really disappointed. That's shoddy construction in my opinion. One thing I found particularly interesting was the focus. The Conquests were decent for sure. The thing about the Victories that's very interesting, and you're gonna see this, like, I'm starting to understand why a $2,500 binocular exists and why off the shelf it only seems like a marginal improvement, but as you use them, it becomes more and more clear why they're $1,500 more. It is almost like the focus snaps into place. Like with the Conquest, just like with my older Vortex razors, I would find myself focusing past an item a couple times before I could, like I'd go a bit too far, come back a bit too far, go in, and then I would have perfect focus. With the Victories, it's not like that. Like you dial in once and it's like as soon as you hit that crisp spot, it was like whatever I was trying to focus on just popped into view, and I had no doubt I'm at perfect focus for that particular distance from the bino. So the Victories blew me away in that regard. Conquests were still very good, and the focusing was superior to other mid-range binoculars that I've had before. I will say that. Okay, let's talk about image quality and brightness. If I had to put a number on it, and I am not an optical scientist, I would say the Victories are maybe 10% brighter. So maybe 10 to 15% brighter. You really do notice it. Like if it's dawn or dusk and you put these up to your eyes, you definitely see more things with the Victories than you do with the Conquest, hands down. The other noticeable difference is the detail and the clarity of vision and the lack of any color distortion. These just give you that like 4K pop, and it's like you're seeing the veins and the leaves and the hair on the coyotes and the little stickers on the cactus, like everything. These are good. You're definitely not gonna miss a deer, but you don't get that same like 3D 4K in your face feel that the Victories give you. Now I wanna take a quick note here and talk about how these would place in the field. Before this, I had a pair of Vortex razors. Ergonomics went out on the Vortex razors over the Conquests. The Vortex razors are a very nice in-hand feeling. The eye cups come in and out perfectly. When I put them on my face, there's no like figuring out where to put them and like adjusting the roof to get that perfect line so you get that beautiful circle of vision. So ergonomically, I prefer the Vortex, but optically, the Conquests just beat the Vortex hands down. There's no debating it. Vortex typically get this purple fringing. So let's say you're looking off at a skyline and you have the line of the mountains and then you got a white or a blue sky in the background. When you zoom in and look at that skyline, you'll see this faint purple fringing with Vortex, and you get it a lot. It's noticeable once you've had them for quite a while. There was none of that with the Conquest. And I would say the Conquest and the razors exist in the same price point. You know, if I was gonna buy a $1,000 pair of binoculars, that's what you would be comparing. And optically, the Conquest blew the Vortex out of the water. Now, one other thing to note that's quite interesting is that the Victories actually have a 15-foot wider field of view at 1,000 yards. And I'm gonna be honest, I think it's actually more than that. Because you can feel it. Like when I put them both on tripods and like looked and looked and looked, you just get a larger field of view with these, and you feel it. You feel like you're covering more ground at the same time. And I'm the type of guy that I like to put my binoculars in one area and then kind of look around inside my binoculars all to the edges and then kind of move areas and like do that again. So the bigger field of view I can get, the more efficient I feel like I am with my glassing. So that's another note in favor of the Conquests. Sorry, that's another note in favor of the Victories. Okay, so let's just get right down to it. What would I buy and what would I recommend? Well, I'm keeping the Victories. I'm lucky enough that I can afford the Victories. I'm also one of those people, I'm just gonna be totally honest with you. When I know it's not the best, it just gets to me. Like it's like a beetle drilling into the back of my skull, and it bothers me. And I know if I kept the Conquests and knew the Victories were out there, it would be the kind of thing that I just couldn't let go. And I understand that's completely irrational and ridiculous. Doesn't matter, that's how I feel. So because I can afford it, I'm gonna keep the Victories. But I wanna take a moment here and say this. If you're the type of guy that doesn't mind having second best, like you're okay, like, listen, it's stupid to spend $2,500 on binoculars. I'm not debating that. You could do a whole hunt for the extra $1,500. So unless you got some serious cash, I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of financial sense to buy the Victories. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think, are you actually gonna find any more animals with the Victories over the Conquests? Maybe a couple of percentage points higher degree of success with the Victories, because I think your eye fatigue is going to be less. I think they're more enjoyable to hold in hand. I think the larger field of view and the slightly better light capturing capabilities, maybe there's like a 2 to 3% increase in performance overall. And I mean performance, if we define performance as your ability to find an animal in the field that is a potential target, let's say that would increase by 2 to 3%. Maximum 5% with these guys for an extra $1,500. Let's say you're not one of those guys. Let's say you only really do, let's say you're only going on 1 to 2 hunts per year and you'd rather save your money for hunting. Listen, man, you are gonna sleep very well at night with these Conquests. And like I said earlier, they blow the vortex out of the water with the optical qualities. The only thing that bugs me is the eye relief cup stuff. If you pull them all the way out, I probably can't recommend these because it's going to be the kind of thing that's going to drive you nuts. But if you don't need a lot of eye relief, you just need one click, I mean, there you go. They're there for you every time. If you need more than that, these probably aren't the guy for you. So, gonna put these ones up for sale. Only used them for a week. Gonna keep the Victories. At the end of the day, I think they're worth the extra $1,500. I understand now why expensive glass is expensive glass. I was always a mid-range glass guy. Like, I'd buy high-end Vortex, basically, like the Razor line, and I'm done. After using these for a week solid, that's it. I'm a Zeiss guy now, or at least a top 3, a Zeiss, Leica, or Swaro, because I really do think there's a fundamental difference in quality. Okay, so that's it. You got any questions? If I made any mistakes, if you just want to leave some general feedback, hit me up in the comments below or send me a DM. I'm happy to help out any way I can. Thanks for watching.